So, what would you say was the first record you fell in love with that made you like hip hop?
Wow, that's a good question. I know back in Memphis, my cousin has a lot of music. I know that I ran the Dead Presidents soundtrack. I listened to that a lot. That and J.JIG's Reasonable Doubt. Those two I ran to the ground. So I would say those two. I know the first two purchases I made was Lauren Hill's Miseducation of Lauren Hill and The Violator. It was a compilation of all these rappers that was signed under this one group. And those were the two. I got it from Blockbuster too, so they were like $20. You know, they was taxing during those times for real.
The media played that. What made you start rapping?
So I always been a singer. I started off singing first. Singing was my first love. In kindergarten, I played a singing tree, and even as a shorty, I had a singing voice of like a grown woman. Like I could really blow when I was a shorty. And so I started singing first, choir, school choir, and everything. But I did not want to rap until I saw Missy Elliott's "I Can't Stand the Rain." At 11 years old, when I saw Missy Elliott's "I Can't Stand the Rain," I just connected with her. I just connected with her because, again, she was a plus size woman. She had the darker skin tone like me, and she was just so fly. She was just so fly to me, and I always tell people, that she kind of gave me my first shot of dope. You know what I'm saying? That I could be dope too. You know what I'm saying? And I said, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm a rap. And when I was 11 years old, I wrote my first rap when I seen Missy, I Can't Stand the Rain.
Do you remember that rap?
I don't, but it was whack. It was whack.
What was your incline into the music industry? Like, what pushed you to be like, you know what, I'm gonna pick up this microphone, I can do this?
Man, Vanny, to be honest, I always could write. I keep a journal. I just put my journal out. I just pulled my journal out right before you hit me up for this. I always kept a journal as a kid. I had a tree house that I would hide out in my backyard and write stories, not even raps or songs or nothing like that, just stories. So I've always been a writer. But when I went to high school, I met some of my best friends to this day that rapped. And like they would just be like, get on the song, you know what I'm saying? And I fell in love with the process of like just hanging out with your homies in a room and just making songs, saying whatever, and getting a reaction from the school. We'll burn it, take it back to the school, and they'll be jamming it in the parking lot or wherever. And I just fell in love with that process of taking my writing craft and like moving it into music and poetry and stuff like that. So, and it was a hobby. I always say it was a hobby until my mom's passed when I was 20 years old, 2008, and it turned into a coping mechanism where I would just write songs and just to keep my mind off of stuff. So I just like developed a skill over time, trying to kind of get away from thinking about that type of stuff. I didn't really know how to deal with it, so I made music. That was my choice of how I kind of healed through it. And I really got away from the world, you know what I'm saying? I was just really just writing music every day. I mean, like 10 songs, just really not knowing what's going on. Bass looking like people would see me and be like, damn, you look different. Like afro and beard, like I've been in a cave, like for real. And I developed a skill from doing that. You look up, 10 years go by, and that's all you know how to do. So it's like, shoot, you better figure this out, and you know what I'm saying, and make it happen. So that's really how I.
And yeah, I'm here with Vanny B on the air. Blessed to be here.
Man, it's a blessing to be here. I gotta let you know, your boy Steph Simon told me the studio is like home. That's like one of the most comfortablest studios he'd have never been in.
Yeah, that's the spot, man. I've been having the studio now. I'm not in there right now because of the Wi-Fi, but I've been having the studio now for about, man, it's gonna make 20 years uh next year is gonna make 20 years. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like an underground spot, man. It's kind of like Tigger's basement, you know what I'm saying? So it's nice in there. You gonna have to check it out one day.
Man, for sure, for sure. So, how did George Young get started in music and making records?
Yeah, that's a great question. So growing up, one of my best friends, like after school, we used to freestyle and stuff. A lot of times I was too scared, but my boy heard me rap. He'd be like, "Hey man, go ahead, rap, go ahead, rap." And then eventually, like around my family, like my uncle, one of my uncles will always have these parties and stuff and these kickbacks with his wife, and I end up freestyling at those. And when I got to about the ninth or 10th grade, it turned into me writing, you know. And I did my first little demo when I was about 15, 16 years old. I also picked up producing around that same time. And it's just been no turning back from there. I just always had that love of music. My mom was a musician. My uncle was a musician. My stepdad was a musician growing up. So music has always been around my family. And then I finally just got the gall to pick it up when I was about 16 or 17.
So, what was the first hip hop song that you fell in love with?
Oh, my mama would say the Wild Wild West by Kool Moe Dee. That's probably dating myself a little bit.
But what
Um,
would you say?
what I would say, I would probably say the first song I remember like going crazy over was definitely Mace and Puff. Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. I had Puff Daddy and the Family CD, No Way Out, and I had the cassette of Can't Hold Me Down. And I used to play that over and over and over and over again. There's just something about that song, the beat, the lyrics, it just sounded fly. And that was really one of the first songs that I was like, yeah, I really would like to do that one day.
So, being a free spirit, a lover, and a nurturer of people,
Mhm.
where would you say you get that part of yourself from in your family?
Hmm. I take bits and pieces of everybody that I meet. Um, it's like an even exchange. So I give love and I receive whatever I can learn from them. I would say that I'm surrounded by love in my family. I always have been, and I think that that's a huge blessing because it really has helped forge me into the person that I am today, and it helps me carry that with me throughout all of my days, and it helps me to impact other people. So it's always a cycle. I'm always giving out love and receiving more of it. I would say that it's not just one person or a handful, it's my entire environment. As long as I'm in that, then I'm receiving that.
What do you consider pure love?
Hmm. Pure love is honest. It is unapologetic. It's unbridled. So it's not stagnant. It's not held back. It's something that you can give freely without worrying about the outcomes or the repercussions or reciprocity even. Pure love is something that is warm and filling, like a home cooked meal. That's what pure love feels like to me.
Man, that sounds riveting. It
Mm.
really does. So, knowing that you are this, how should I say? I wouldn't say pillar, but knowing that you are, if you could give yourself some game, what would it be to the young man in yourself or the men that you see following the wrong paths that you and your peers endeared or didn't make it through or endured?
I would have told him to do it your way, like 1000%. Like you're not gonna learn because I'm real stubborn. Like I'm real hard headed. Like you can give me all the game, and I'm gonna still want to do it my way. But I'm not gonna dismiss what you put me on, because then when it doesn't quote unquote go my way, I remember like, oh yeah, you did say this, let me do that. If that helps, it just goes from there. So my stubbornness didn't get me in a lot of places at the time. What I know now, I thought I was, being passive aggressive, blowing things off, not just attacking what it was and just letting it die down and things like that. I think it would be that.
Turn up in this bitch cause we getting live. Nothing else compared with Vanity on the air. Tear the roof off this bitch like we don't give a care. Let's get it crackin'. Yeah. What's the word? Spit the verb. What's the word? Spit the verb.